He hadn't said a word in over a year, and then out of nowhere, in the middle of a room full of people, my son looked straight at her and said, "Hi." Just like that. One word. One tiny, earth-shaking syllable. And I swear, it knocked the wind right out of me. Let me back up a sec. So there I am, stuck in traffic outside Coeur d'Alene, wearing a wrinkled shirt, tie half yanked down, my kid full-on screaming in the back seat. Not whining, not throwing a tantrum, this was a meltdown. Fists pounding, feet kicking, his whole body thrashing like he was fighting gravity. And me? I'm gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles went bone white, not from rage, but from helplessness. You ever feel like you're supposed to have all the answers, and one day you wake up and realize you don't even know the questions anymore? Jonah's my son. 7 years old, autistic, nonverbal, or at least that's what the doctors called it. But it's more than that. It's the silence, the exhaustion, the eyes that never meet yours. And the judgment. From strangers, teachers, even family. My wife passed away 3 years ago, brain aneurysm out of nowhere. Since then, it's just been me and him. Me pretending I'm fine, and him. Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know. So I pull into this rundown diner, Ruby's. Didn't check the sign, didn't care about the menu, I just needed to breathe. I carry Jonah inside like he's a storm I can't contain. People stare, of course they do. I sit him down, try to block the lights with my jacket, and I whisper to myself, I can't do this. Not even loud. Just defeated. Then this waitress walks over. Young, maybe mid-20s, red bandana tied up in her curls. Her name tag says Nia. She doesn't flinch, doesn't pity us. She just says, "Mind if I clean this up?" Calm, like she sees this kind of thing all the time. And I don't know why, but I let her. She crouches near Jonah, not too close, starts humming, real soft. Not a tune I know, just a sound. And she holds out a spoon of applesauce. Waits. And he eats. No fight. No flinch. Just opens his mouth and eats. I nearly cried right there in that sticky booth. Turns out, her little brother's nonverbal too. She said she grew up learning his cues like most kids learn the alphabet. I asked if she ever thought about working with kids like Jonah. She said, if someone gave me the chance. So I did. I brought her to Seattle. Told her about the foundation I started. Honestly, it was just a line item in a quarterly report, something to make us look good. But she walked into that building like she'd lived there for years. No degrees. No titles. Just real experience. First thing she did? She cut every expert panel and replaced them with parents, siblings, autistic teens who could speak for themselves. The board hated it. This isn't protocol. She's not qualified. One guy even said, we need professionals, not passion projects. She looked that man dead in the eye and said, you don't need a PhD to understand how a screaming child in a grocery store can break a parent's spirit. You should have seen his face. Meanwhile, Jonah started sleeping. Not every night, but enough. Started using a fork. Started leaning into me instead of pulling away. And then came that day he looked at Nia and said hi. First word. No cameras, no applause. Just the three of us. And it felt like a miracle, except it wasn't. It was earned. Slowly. Patiently. Now here's the part one didn't expect. Somewhere between the boardrooms and the spoonfuls of applesauce, I started catching feelings. I'd look for reasons to check in on her. Stay a little longer when she was in the break room. She noticed, of course. But she didn't call me on it. Not until that night in Missoula, after one of our community town halls, under a sky so big it made you feel small. She said, "You don't have to try so hard around me." And that's when I knew she saw through me very carefully built layer. But here's the twist. When the press caught wind of the changes at our foundation, they ran with it. Called her the waitress with no degree who hijacked a nonprofit. Said I was compromised. Emotional. Even had a few board members try to stage a vote to get rid of her. I asked one of them straight to his face, "Can your master's degree get my kid to eat lunch without screaming?" He didn't answer. Just shifted in his seat. Nia didn't ask me to fight for her. She never asked for anything. But I did anyway. Because she didn't just help Jonah. She helped me. Helped me stop measuring worth by salaries and metrics, and start seeing the people holding everything together behind the scenes. The last time I saw her, we weren't in a meeting or a clinic. We were sitting on the steps outside my house. Jonah had just drawn a picture, 3 stick figures holding hands. One tall. One small. One with curly hair. She said nothing. Just smiled and held the paper like it weighed more than it should. I don't know where we are headed. I don't know if this becomes something more. But I do know this sometimes. The people who change your life don't walk in wearing a suit or carrying a clipboard. Sometimes they walk out of a diner with a rag in one hand and a patience you didn't know existed. And yeah, maybe that's not how these stories are supposed to go. But I'll take messy, honest connection over polished protocol any day. Now I want to hear what you think. Does lived experience matter more than credentials? Should someone like Nia be running a program like this? Or was the board right to question it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because honestly, I think this one's gonna get people talking.